Okay, let's get right into it because something really truly revolutionary is happening. People aren't just using AI anymore, they're hiring it. Seriously, we're seeing this wild trend where people are buying dedicated computers, like little Mac minis, sticking them in a corner and just letting them run 24/7. Why would they do that? So they can text that little box from anywhere on the planet and have it actually get work done for them.
And that quote right there, that is the fundamental shift. For the past couple of years, AI has basically been our advisor, right? You ask it how to do something, and it gives you a fantastic, step-by-step plan. But this new wave of AI, it doesn't give you the plan. It just does the thing.
I mean, just think about this for a second. There was one user who texted his AI an idea for an app, he went for a walk, and by the time he got back, the entire feature was deployed. It just did it. Another person said he's completely stopped checking his email because his AI just handles all of it now. This is all about having an always-on digital employee that's ready to go whenever you are.
So let's really break down the problem that this new kind of technology is solving. You know the drill. You open up a standard chatbot and you type something like, "Hey, organize my super messy desktop." And it'll give you genuinely good advice. It'll say, create folders for this, move your screenshots here, use a consistent naming system. And then you're left to go and do all of that work yourself. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the advisor. That's the AI we all know, the one that gives us instructions and suggestions. But on the other side, you've got the doer. This is what we call agentic AI, and its whole job is to perform actions and complete tasks. It's really the difference between hiring a consultant to tell you what to do and hiring an employee to just get it done.
All right, so the tool that's really at the center of this whole shift is called Moldbot. Now, you might have heard of it by its old name, Claudebot. They actually had to change it because of some copyright stuff with Anthropic, the company that makes the Claude AI model. But don't let the name change fool you. It's the exact same, incredibly powerful software.
And the magic that makes this all possible is this concept, agentic AI. The two keywords you got to remember here are proactively and autonomously. This thing doesn't wait for you to spell out every single little step. You give it a big picture goal and it just goes and figures out all the little steps it needs to take to make it happen inside your computer.
So what really makes this tool a game changer? Well, it boils down to these four things. First, it runs on your own computer, which means your data stays private with you. Huge. Second, you can text it from anywhere using apps like Telegram. Third, it has persistence. It remembers everything you've ever told it. And fourth, and honestly, this is the part that just blows my mind, if it needs a tool to finish a job that it doesn't have, it will literally build its own tool from scratch.
Okay, that all sounds amazing on paper, right? But the real question is, how does it actually hold up when you throw a real messy project at it? Well, let's see how it did against 3 real-world tests, from something simple like file organization all the way up to complex web development.
So first up, we're going to give it a classic digital headache, a totally disorganized hard drive. Then we're going to level up to a creative task and have it do research across a bunch of different social media sites. And for the grand finale, we're going to push it to its absolute limits with a real coding and design challenge. All right, for test number 1, we gave it access to an external SSD that was a complete and utter disaster, just files dumped everywhere. The only instruction it got was a simple text, organize everything properly. And what's so cool is that it didn't just start moving files around. It asked for permission, scanned the whole drive, and came back with a full report on duplicates and junk files. It even suggested a new folder structure. All it took was a one-word reply, yes, and it went to work. The whole drive, perfectly organized, just incredible. Now, let's really crank up the difficulty. For the second test, we gave it a content research task. The goal? Analyze top posts on LinkedIn for what makes them go viral, then jump over to a specific YouTube channel to figure out its scripting style, and finally, pull the latest news from Twitter. And it did it all. It opened the browser by itself, scrolled through the feeds, analyzed the content, all without a single other click from a human. And here's the kicker. This is what shows you the sheer power of this approach. From sending that first simple request to getting back a final merged script combining insights from 3 different websites, the entire thing took just 13 minutes. 13. That's just wild. Okay, for the final challenge, the boss battle, we raised the stakes even higher. The command was to redesign a startup's landing page, but with a very specific and pretty tough instruction. Make it look and feel like Apple's website. And what did it do? It opened a browser, went to Apple's site to study the design, looked at the startups page to get the content, and then just started writing the code.
But it wasn't a perfectly smooth ride. At one point, it actually sent this message back. It got confused, it hit a memory limit, and just got lost. But what's so amazing is that it knew it was lost, and it asked for help. After a quick little reminder of the goal, it just picked up right where it left off and got back to coding.
So here's the bottom line on that test. The final result, it wasn't perfect. Nope. Some colors were off, a few images didn't load right, but it got about 80% of the job done. That's a massive amount of work saved compared to just starting with a blank page.
All right, so you've seen what this thing can do. And at this point, I'm guessing some of you are feeling pretty intrigued, maybe a little adventurous. So let's do a quick flyby of what the setup actually looks like.
So the process basically starts when you go to the Moldbot website and copy a single line of code. You paste that into your computer's terminal, that little black window with the text cursor. Then you gotta connect it to an AI's brain. So you'll pick a provider like Anthropic or OpenAI and give it your API key. After that, you link it to a messaging app like Telegram so you can talk to it when you're out and about. And finally, there's a cool web dashboard where you can add extra skills, like letting it access your Notion or Apple Notes.
Now hang on, before you run off and do this, there is a super important warning we have to talk about. And this isn't me just being cautious. The tool itself gives you this warning. It is extremely powerful, it has access to your computer's files, and they describe it as inherently risky. So the strong recommendation from pretty much everyone using it is to install this on a separate, secondary computer, not your main laptop. Better safe than sorry.
So after seeing how it works, what it can do, and the big safety warning, what's the final verdict here? Where does a tool like this really fit into the future of how we work?
The conclusion is pretty clear, honestly. This is way more than just a cool tech toy. It might not be 100% perfect just yet, but the speed and, more importantly, the autonomy it shows, that's a massive leap forward. What we're looking at here is a very, very real glimpse into a future where we just hand off our digital busywork to autonomous agents. And what's really going to bake your noodle are the unexpected things that are already starting to happen. Get this story from the community. One user's AI figured out that it could use a different, cheaper AI model for certain tasks. So it went ahead and installed that other AI, all by itself, just to save its owner some money on API fees. I mean, that's not just following instructions, that's proactive problem solving.
And all of this really leaves us with one truly profound question to chew on. We've just seen that this AI can build its own tools to get a job done. So what happens when these digital employees working around the clock start building tools that we never even asked for? That's the future we're stepping into right now.